Welcome to Breakthrough.
Welcome to Breakthrough again, and we have a new studio set up here today.
We are in the wild.
We decided to take it outside and enjoy this beautiful autumn day, right?
Yeah, beautiful day. Literally, we got the birds speaking to us here.
Blue skies.
Yeah, just taking it all in. We're in the week here. We're leading up to Thanksgiving.
That's right.
So for me, this is a favorite time of year. I love this nature at this time. I like the cold too. I like the introduction of the cold. There's something really physical about it.
Yeah.
I like putting the jackets on. It doesn't bother me. I don't know. I always feel like each season comes to us at the time that it needs to.
That's right. That's right. And it is one of my most favorite season. For many reasons. One, obviously, the crisp air, like you talk about, just brings like a freshness and like a renewed sense of energy. And, the colors.
Oh, yeah.
Now we're just a little past peak here, but just the colors are so vibrant against the blue sky. And I think it's the season of autumn that teaches me how to get better about letting go of things. I've prayed, this one author puts out this prayer that autumn is the sacrament of letting go. As you watch leaf by leaf being shed from trees. It's gorgeous. Good life lessons nature teaches us.
Yeah, and I think it's an important time to start to let go as well, because we're about to enter into Advent, and then the craziness of the Christmas season that tells us to take more, and you're going to get gifts, and you're going to get all these things. And so, as much as we always joke, like spring cleaning is the time, like now is really the time to do your spiritual cleaning and your literal cleaning, because we're all going to get into a dizzy soon, and kind of being prepared for that. I feel like in my adult life, I've gotten really good at slowing down now, so I can really enjoy Advent, because it always just flew when I was younger. So I try to practice that, like really be present.
It's another favorite season of mine.
It's good.
And you're right. I mean, in this season, the opportunity to do some raking on our interior, clearing that space in order to prepare for this next season that's coming up.
And there's a lot going on. I think this is probably one of the most juxtaposition types of years in my journey, where there's so much pain in the world and sadness, and I have to be so mindful not to take it home all the time, but just being real. It is a really tough moment. I mean, the amount of people I feel like I bump into and just say, "How you doing?" and their eyes tell a story. I'm not doing well. I'm struggling. This person in my family may be shipped away. Literally, that's how, someone said, we just did this little Good Boys thing, which if you haven't checked out that short film that we made for the vigil about two brothers who were deported, I had a family member say to me, "Wow, is that what's really happening?"
Right.
I said, yeah, it is.
I mean, so often, and rightfully so, we are so focused on our life and how we're moving through it, and we're not always taking the time, as we rub shoulders with folks, to find out what's going on in their life. And when you listen to stories like you put together in Good Boys, I realize, wow, I can't imagine that. And it gives me pause to be even more grateful for the gifts I have, for the life I'm able to live. And then what do I do with those gifts?
Yeah.
You talked about that hoarding. It's gift given. Yeah. Gift received is also gift to be given as well.
Yeah, and how do you advocate with that gift? It's interesting what you say about when you see someone and you say, "How you doing?" I was just recently reflecting on how I feel like I grew up with a lot of questions having answers in them. So if someone says, "How are you?" Good. Like I've been training myself out of that. Maybe it's just like a cultural thing too, of just like how the language is in different areas, but like I always felt like I grew up with that, like, "What's going on? Everything good? What's going on?" Like that's just conversational, but we have to teach ourselves how to not answer the question with a positive, because it's our desire to have a positive answer. And I've caught myself a few times with some people going, "Hey, how are things going?" Good. And I stop and go, it might not be good for that person.
Right. And someone taught me some years ago to rephrase the question is, "How are you today?" In the moment, how are you today? How are you today?
Yeah.
You didn't want to answer that.
How am I? Oh, you asking me? I thought it was rhetorical. I'm better now. I'll be real. This is exciting to do this. I just got off a really exciting call with our national justice promoters and directors, which always is really animating. But before I was getting a little down. I'll be honest with you. I was, just a couple of conversations here around the campus with some people who are struggling, and just kind of get into a. We have the release of the Epstein files, this whole thing in the news, and there's a great amount of sadness in hearing people survive. I try to take time to really listen to as many of these stories as I can, because it's important. But yeah, it's hard.
It is hard, and yet it reminds me to be grateful for that gift of relationships, and that not every day of our life is going to go easy.
No.
And yet how important it is to be supportive with each other, and not to try to push through the pain or the struggle, especially when you're doing work in justice, but to be with it.
Yeah.
And not to, for me to rush in and like Superwoman and say, oh, it's going to be okay. I'm going to fix it all for you and make it good. No, just to be that presence, that gift of presence, to be with another in a supportive, loving manner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How are you today?
Well, today I'm doing well. I've been preparing with some things with my ministry, and if you don't know my ministry, I'm working with newer, younger members who are discerning their life to be Sisters of St. Joseph, it's a beautiful ministry. It's a stretching ministry, and it's a reminder of me and my yes to the call to this life, and so another reason to be grateful for. And so we're finishing the first half of this program, this special year in their life of discernment, and it's been good. It's been good. It's been challenging, but I feel myself growing. And
Stretching.
Stretching.
I love that you always say that. It's
Stretching.
something I think about all the time. Yeah, that gift of reaching out and yeah.
And I think the seasons, autumn, coming up to Thanksgiving and the impending Advent season, is really giving me something to look forward to.
It's the Christmas music, right?
Well, I don't know if it's Christmas music. You know what? It's as we move, into shorter days.
Yeah.
People say, oh, the sun is going down. It's we're turning from the sun a lot sooner than we did, and days are shorter. There's less light, and yet there's something about the darkness I appreciate.
This is why we're buddies. Because I was just thinking about this too, like how everyone complains about, days are longer, it's so depressing, all this. And for some people that's real. Like seasonal grief and depression is very real. So I don't want to make light of that.
Right.
But I do I like the change. I like that. And I remember hearing you say that once before and thinking, oh, it's nice. I think more people that like it need to speak up, because there's some people I'm my most creative during this time.
Yes.
I feel like I flourish with ideas during this moment, and then I get everything done when the days are longer.
What do you think it is that makes that happen? I'll tell you my reason why I think for me, but
you
let's
go
hear
first.
from you.
Well,
I think in the darkness, whether it be in the early morning hours or later in the day, there's a stillness around me that has me turn inward and pay closer attention to what's going on there. And what's the work I need to do, and pay attention so that I can get greater stillness in order to, live well.
Yeah, stillness. I think that's perfect. Just that kind of the quiet and the way that you feel like everything is like in the morning, like the frost this morning.
Isn't that beautiful?
It was, like that. For me, that is inspiring. That just does something for me. And also, too, I think, as a cinema brain type of person, like this time of year is just naturally very cinematic. The frost, everything, it's just the ideal time to do photography. A lot of great movies are shot in this time of year at these phases of the day. So it just looks beautiful. Whereas like the summer, which your birthday's in the summer, we're birthday neighbors.
We're Leos.
The days are really, really bright, and that actually isn't always the greatest for like cinematography, for photography, all these kinds of things, which is kind of interesting that the brightness, as great as it is, sometimes it can be too much. Sometimes it needs to have that, we need a little bit of all of that. Yeah. So anyways.
And less light can really help with our visual acuity, not only just with the eyes, but also the eyes of our hearts as well. Christian, when you were talking about, meeting with the justice promoters and then the interview and the little video that you put together of the two brothers and their whole experience with deportation and the whole immigration scenario, it also reminds me that in this month of November that we name Native American Heritage Month, that the Thanksgiving that we celebrate is really a day of mourning for the indigenous people of the land, for the amount of loss and trauma that they experienced. People who welcomed the settlers to the land, showed them how to work with the land, how to fish in the land, and so much has been taken away from them.
Yeah, and this, we just had Brittany on from Land Justice Futures.
Yes.
So, if you haven't checked that episode out, which I'm sure you have, our fans, really important things to unpack in that with regards to the history. But yeah, again, that light and shadow of a day of Thanksgiving, which, I like that. I feel like my generation is really exploring the idea of the gratitude day, a day of gratitude. How do we examine that in gratitude exercises? Because it is a dark history. It is.
It is.
Lot.
And yet, as we are allies
Mm-hmm.
to the people, and most especially the Shinnecock people that we have really a beautiful relationship with and are teaching us so much, how that helps the healing.
Yeah.
And helps our own understanding and learning of all that has happened. And has us asking, how can we support you? How can we be one with you? How can we be in solidarity with you? One of the things that many congregations and other groups of people, communities are doing is to develop a land acknowledgement. You might have heard us talk about our land ethic and how we relate to and with the land. However, a land acknowledgement is a written statement that acknowledges the fact that indigenous people were on the land before we arrived, and to respect and reverence this land and to honor them and the continuing relationship that they have with their ancestors.
Yeah, and Long Island, look at all the names of the towns, and there's so much history. There's a lot of land acknowledgement that needs to be done.
Yes. So a few years back, a few members of our Earth Matters Committee came together and we wrote a land acknowledgement because we thought it was a good practice, again, to continually remind us and educate us to the fullest story of the land and the peoples who were here first. And then we ran it by some of our indigenous friends, the Shinnecock, Montaukett, and they helped us, craft it. And we don't know if we still have it perfect.
Yeah, right.
However, we have it penned, and it's pretty well. Would you like to hear it?
I would
love
to
hear it.
Oh, I would love to.
I just happen to have the copy here. Hold on. One of these days, I will have it, embedded in my heart. So this reads as follows. And we usually begin many of our meetings and gatherings with this land acknowledgement. Coming from many areas across Long Island, we recognize this land and express gratitude and appreciation to those whose territory we reside on. We honor the indigenous people who have been living and working with this land from time immemorial and are grateful for their presence with us as we move into the future. We commit to knowing their long-standing history that has brought us to reside on this land, and we seek to understand our place within that history. We recognize the unique and disproportionate hardships Native Americans, including our Long Island neighbors, have faced and continue to face as a result of colonialism. We are aware that colonialism is a current, ongoing process, and that we need to build an awareness of our present participation. And so we acknowledge that we are on the ancestral and unceded land, the traditional territories of the 5 Indian nations of Long Island, the Matinecock, Montaukett-Setacot, Shinnecock, and Unkachong Indian nations. We are grateful for their presence on Long Island today. We value their wisdom and seek to move into the future as one. Amen.
Amen.
So it's all about relationships, our being, our becoming, and our growing.
that's really inspiring. And I think to offer a note too for, I know sometimes there might be some criticisms which I don't think are, fair, but they're out there of, these kinds of statements and acknowledgements, and some people saying, why do we got to keep reading that? Like, why do we, what's this? Why is that? And, let's not look at this as a threat or as a calling out saying that people are bad when we say this is still happening, because it is still happening. But let's look at it as an invitation to learn more about our people and our roots and our, not necessarily our people, but the people that we share this land with, and then be educated by it. So I see it as an invitation, and not everyone does.
Mm-hmm.
But if that's, maybe as you go to your dinner table this Thursday, maybe read it, maybe have a conversation about it, but see it as an invitation.
Yeah, as an invitation, because we're not looking to do a shame and blame game.
Right.
This is the history. We acknowledge that, and then where do we go from there? Because we always want to be on the right side of history. And again, in the season of thanks, we give thanks for the gifts, for these relationships, and how can we continue to grow them in a manner of respect and reverence? Because they truly are a gift.
This is nice. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I know I have the sense I'm going to go to my Thanksgiving table differently.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you. We hope that you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. And if you're celebrating Advent, all the blessings as you prepare for the Christmas season that soon follows.
Yeah, God bless. Slow down. Take it in. Open the car window every now and then. I know it's cold, but do it. Let some of that air in, and enjoy the little things.